let's talk some quarterbacks here. Let's keep it trucking. The Pittsburgh Steelers are waiting on Aaron Rodgers. This is why everybody's here today. And I think it's so interesting where we've gone. And we're 60 days today from Aaron Rodgers showing up in Pittsburgh, masked up, you know what I mean? Hat on, driving his Chevy Malibu, like one of the other Yinzers out there. Blending in, trying to blend in, you know? And I think it's so. Did you see the picture? You've definitely seen the picture.
Yeah. Oh,
of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. I think it's hilarious that he almost perfectly got it right. He was pretty spot on of what an everyday person in the city of Pittsburgh looks like. Shout out Aaron Rodgers. 2, a little insulting that he was so easy to do, that this was, pretty spot on, perfect representation of what an everyday Yinzer looks like here in the city. I get it. All you got to do is watch one news clip. You're pretty good. But still, 60 days since he's been here, which means it's been 2 weeks before that the conversations ever started. We are 74, 75 days away or since this whole thing. That's a lifetime, okay? We are almost a third of a year into Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers still not having an answer. Wild. Everybody's bashing on him. Everybody's hating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody's got this to say. Everybody's got that to say. Well, ESPN's Evan Cohn said that the most surprising thing the Pittsburgh Steelers did not do this season at quarterback is go after Brock Purdy. Why? He said, quote, Pittsburgh didn't seemingly go for Matthew Stafford when there was a moment to do that. They didn't seemingly go for Geno Smith when there was a moment to do that. They weren't in on Sam Darnold when there was a moment to do that. And they weren't in on Purdy, so they just don't want to pay quarterbacks. They don't believe quarterback is the position you should pay. That's what you learn. Now, make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. I talked about it yesterday. I'll talk about it again. If it wasn't for me, today was a prime example. Didn't eat Factor today. And you want to know what happened? I went out and I bought breakfast. I went out and I bought lunch, and now Jillian will not be home tonight. And there is a 99.9% chance I'm buying dinner. Nobody's budget can afford these things, but thankfully Factor's here for us. Get started at factormeals.com/allsteelerstalk 50 off and use our code allsteelerstalk 50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code allsteelerstalk 50 off at factormeals.com/allsteelerstalk 50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. There are some corrections to this that need to be made. One, the Pittsburgh Steelers were in on Sam Darnold. They were contacting Sam Darnold. They were in on Sam Darnold. Did they make a push for him? No. Did they ever think it was realistic? No. Was it their next option after Justin Fields? Yes. That was number 2, even if it wasn't realistic. Geno Smith, my friend, I'm sorry, but Mason Rudolph before Geno Smith, I would do it every day. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, to me, it's, you know what you're getting out of Geno Smith. He's 33 years old. There are certain quarterbacks that you could go after in that ballpark. Right now, the Steelers are looking like, well, that doesn't make sense. That one doesn't make any sense at all. 2, I don't know if they called about Matthew Stafford. What I do know is that Omar Khan definitely hinted at calling about Matthew Stafford during the NFL league meetings, that all options were still on the table, that they were still very open to adding another veteran, even through a trade. So I'm not going to rule out Matthew Stafford. I don't know if they ever called about Brock Purdy. I don't believe they ever did. Would they have? Should they have? Two very important questions here. I mean, if you're going to pay $50 million for a quarterback, great. Has to be your guy. No questions asked about it. Brock Purdy may have been that guy. He might have been the closest thing to that guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But is it wrong that they didn't call about Brock Purdy? Like, do you sit here and say that was an alternative option that they missed on because the Pittsburgh Steelers decided $55 million for a quarterback who's been to the mountaintop? You know, he didn't win it, but he got you where you needed to go. He's been to the playoffs. He's been very impressive. He's worth every penny for the 49ers. Still worth that much money for the Pittsburgh Steelers, plus whatever you'd have to trade for him. Is that the one miss that, like, you know, you could justify a lot of these? Can you justify Brock Purdy in the same light, or is that a miss?
Yeah, that is not a miss. Okay. All respect to Brock Purdy and for his ability to secure that long-term extension. I think he was never an ideal fit as the long-term quarterback for the Steelers, even in hypotheticals. And I think probably because of the sour, the way things soured last summer regarding any sort of Brandon Ayuk trades and any sort of negotiations, as far as that's concerned, I think the Steelers are probably pretty hesitant to even engage with a really legitimate trade talks with the 49ers. That would just be my guess on that. But that aside, I don't think Purdy really stuck out as the best option moving forward, especially as we keep talking about the 2026 draft class being ideal and maybe having multiple candidates better suited to be the franchise quarterback moving forward. So I think it was probably a missed opportunity if they never sort of inquired at all. But I mean, I don't think that's really the case of what happened. So no, I wouldn't consider that a miss. I would consider it, disappointing that we still don't have a franchise quarterback, but not at the expense of missing out on Brock Purdy. Excuse me.
I agree. The Brock to me is not that name. Like, everybody's going to talk and say, oh, well, he's done it. He's been here. He's won games. It's fantastic. I wouldn't have got Jimmy Garoppolo. I wouldn't have went out and got Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's better than, I think Brock Purdy's significantly better than him, but I also think that there is a Kyle Shanahan effect here that I'm not willing to pay top dollar for. I'm not. If you're going to give me Kyle Shanahan with Brock Purdy, okay, you want a first round pick for that one, great. But I'm not just going to go get the system quarterback because maybe he's not good in the system, or maybe he's phenomenal outside the system. But guess what? I need to build a quarterback into my system, and I think that works out way better for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the other argument to this, is that there was no quarterback out there, in my opinion, not one of them, that you could have said, Matthew Stafford's probably going to make you a Super Bowl contender, okay? And that is, I think, hands down the only one that if you said for decent return, maybe you take a chance and say, okay, great. Sam Darnold, a glorified one-year deal. I understand that one. Maybe you missed the mark there, but Sam wasn't coming to Pittsburgh. Geno Smith, no chance. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't even have made the phone call. Matthew Stafford, I would have made the phone call, and if everything worked out right, yeah, sure, screw it. Let's go try to win a Super Bowl. Sounds good to me. The Aaron Rodgers, I think, is wild, but I understand it. Kirk Cousins wouldn't even make a phone call, wouldn't even consider making a phone call. And there's one more in there that I'm blank. Oh, and then there's Brock Purdy. And the way I look at Brock Purdy is the Steelers are not trying to avoid paying a quarterback. They're trying to avoid paying the wrong quarterback. That's where they're at. The Steelers are in a place right now where the only way you get worse than where the Pittsburgh Steelers currently are is if you miss and pay a boatload of money on a quarterback. That's the only way that this situation somehow gets worse than where it is right now. The only thing in the NFL that you can do more wrong than not having a quarterback is not having a quarterback that you're paying $150 million to over the next X amount of years. The Steelers have protected themselves throughout the entire offseason on that. They've done it with Justin Fields. That's why they lost him. That's why they didn't consider Russell Wilson. That's why they didn't call about guys like Geno Smith. That's why they didn't make a legitimate offer to Sam Darnold, and why they didn't call the San Francisco 49ers about Brock Purdy is because the next long-term solution in Pittsburgh needs to come through the draft. And they don't know how that's going to happen, but what they do know is that the worst thing they can do right now is overreact and spend a boatload of money long-term on a quarterback. You could spend $30 million right now, and that's totally fine for this season. But the second you move past this season, if that guy doesn't work out, you have just put yourself so deep in a hole because you have an opportunity. That's the thing, is the Steelers they acknowledge their opportunity next year. Patience is actually like, this is a team, this is an organization that does not stay. They're not a patient team. They've never been a patient team. They're patient in development. They're patient in giving guys a lot of chances that maybe they shouldn't, but they are typically we need to make the moves to stay competitive right now. This is the one situation where almost every time a team will overreact to make sure they could stay competitive right now. The Steelers are being patient. And to be honest with you, I think I give them way more props in doing so, because it keeps you out of the rough. It keeps you in the fairway to say, how do I continue to play this hole and see if I could come out on top, instead of saying, damn, we just stroked it right into the lake because we just paid Brock Purdy $240 million and this dude sucks without Kyle Shanahan. I think that's the only way you get worse. And to be honest, I respect that they are not trying to do that.
100%. I mean, look, here is where the debate for me about Brock Purdy sort of ended. Was, I thought about it. How many Super Bowls does Brock Purdy have? 0. He's been to a Super Bowl. Great. How many Super Bowls did Jimmy Garoppolo win? 0. Also went to a Super Bowl. Great. Only thing that's the common factor there is the head coach. I have more faith in the head coach than I do the players making the system working within that system that the head coach has designed and implemented. So just by that alone, Brock Purdy does not equate to a $55 million a year quarterback for me.
No.
Not for the Steelers moving forward, not in the situation they're in. If it pays off in a Super Bowl for the 49ers, hey, great for them. That's a great move. They've kind of put it all together. But no, it still does nothing for me in terms of FOMO of Brock Purdy as a franchise quarterback. I think the Steelers have a much brighter future on the horizon regarding signal callers than Brock Purdy.
I agree. There just is not the NFL has a quarterback problem right now. And the problem is that there just aren't that many superstar quarterbacks in the league. There's not. There used to be so many of them. Like you used to look around and go, wow, dude, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre at one point was in there, Ben Roethlisberger. You could even go to, like, at times, like Chad Pennington was running around making plays. Dante Culpepper was in the league before that. Eli Manning was, Phillip Rivers was here. Like Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, like they were all over the place. Name the superstar quarterbacks in the NFL right now: Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Both of them haven't won a Super Bowl. Nobody else has. That's where the NFL is. Don't go, just try to get the next round. This wave stunk. Let's hope the next wave's better. I think that works out better for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I truly do. Like, I think that the way they're handling this situation is way better and provides way more upside in the end of this. You're taking less risk, but a more educated bet on yourself if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. I respect it. It's going to come for a wild year, maybe a loss to the Patriots, but it's here and it's happening.